It seemed like a regular day. She stepped into an elevator with a bunch of coworkers at various levels of the organization, none of which she knew all that well, and kind of bleary-eyed with their coffee in hand, they rode up as usual, and then suddenly, unexpectedly, the elevator stopped. The lights went out. It was completely dark, and they just hung there 8 stories up in the air. It's like everyone's worst nightmare. She recalled looking around and saw that no one was really taking charge. So she stepped in. She started talking, assuring everyone that they would make it down safely. She made a plan and she helped everyone stay calm. She said that she could feel the tension break as everyone started working together and feeling taken care of. As she worked with the emergency crew over the next hour, it's a very long time, they regenerated the power and then they safely, finally stepped onto solid ground again. And the relief was palpable as everyone laughed and smiled and cried their gratitude to be safe. I will never forget that story. She is an HR manager in Shanghai. In an organization and culture where women did not easily rise to the top, she had. She wasn't afraid to speak her mind, yet from my perspective, she was still deferential and subdued. She hadn't intended to take charge that day when the elevator stopped, nor was she even hankering to do so. But she was willing, and she was very able, so she did. That is the power of the StrengthsFinder CliftonStrengths Command talent at work. Hi there, welcome to the Isogo TV podcast from IsogoStrong.com. I am your host, Becky Hammond, and you and I gather here on this podcast to fixate on strength in our families and on our teams, because when we start from a place that assumes strength instead of weakness, we can make relationships easier. And this is episode 100. We are in a series right now about how to make relationships easier with our strengths. So we'll get to that in a minute. Right now, I want to do something that I'm actually not great at, and I want to pause to celebrate. This 100th episode represents thousands and thousands of downloads and potentially thousands of lives that have some new little tidbit to play out the strengths perspective in their own lives, which then begins to make a ripple effect in families and workplaces and communities. And I believe it's around the entire world. And that spread of the strengths perspective is really something to celebrate. So we're going to celebrate by rounding up the top most downloaded podcasts from the Isogo TV first 100 and make them available over on the blog at isogostrong.com. And over there, I'd love to know what your favorite is too. So even if you don't remember the name, be sure to let us know which one resonated with you over at isogostrong.com or on Instagram at isogostrong. Okay, so today we're chatting about one of the 34 CliftonStrengths talent themes, command. We can really impact relationships by emphasizing the positive, the strengths that we already have, yet sometimes, as you probably already know, the line between what you use as a strength and what can negatively affect your relationships is kind of a thin one. So let's continue to take a look at what making relationships easier looks like through the lens of command. Your command strength is an absolute powerhouse. It gives you a natural sense of confidence and a presence about you that others can just sense. People are attracted to your leadership, and you'll probably likely find yourself in that position quite a lot. While your command strength helps you take charge, you don't necessarily have to be the lead. However, if no one else steps up, like in that elevator, you are willing and wired to do that. In terms of what your ideal environment looks like in a team, you'll thrive in an environment where there's strong leadership, clear directives, and you appreciate strong opinions, both making them but also receiving them. When used well, others admire your leadership and they look to you for confidence, direction, and that's both in your close personal relationships and at work with a team or colleagues. I also find that command can get a bad rap before people get to know you, or maybe also when it's used without good monitoring. Women I've coached, both at home and also in the professional environment, have told me that they find themselves frustrated, wishing they didn't have they call it a strong personality. But other men and women who have learned to leverage their command strength find it to be one of their most relied upon and then ultimately attractive talents to other people that are around them. And as is true with every talent that you have, it's up to you as to how you decide to use this amazing command talent. So if command is a dominant theme for you, the volume that you choose for it in any situation, up or down, will be key in helping you get to that point of making relationships easier or harder. When it's in overdrive, command can have bullying tendencies, kind of not naturally stopping to think about the other players involved. So instead of the effective, natural-born leader that you're meant to be, you can be perceived as more of bull in a china shop. But when it's dialed in well, as was true of the HR manager in that opening story, it can be a beautiful, helpful, necessary thing that others will grow to rely on. So here are a couple ideas of ways to craft your environment to feed your command strength while building strong, easier relationships around you. First, own it. Some of you with command do not have a problem with this part at all. It's part of your command talent to know who you are and how to take charge. For others, and I find this often, whether it comes from your culture or your upbringing, you've received some sort of message along the way that it is not good to take charge or to speak up. This is true of command more than any other strength I've seen in my work. Over time, this command strength will only truly work for you and for the people around you if you choose to rewire that perspective. Own it. Own that you are wired for leadership, that this is a good thing. Believe that you can do it in a way that cares for people around you. Believe that the world needs you, because they do. So, after you own it takes longer than that. The second action is to reframe the mindset of command. Much of using our strengths, any strength, to make relationships easier is about mindset, followed by the discipline or commitment to follow that mindset with action. The most productive and meaningful strengths mindset is one that knows and dials in your own strengths while also accepting and appreciating the strengths of the people that are around us. Because people with the command strength can be so powerful and pervasive, your most effective mindset will be about bringing other strengths around you to sense what you don't naturally sense. The best leaders I've seen with command are those who recognize its potential in position and ask others to balance them out. So for example, they might ask a colleague or team member with more relationship intuitive talents to give a report on the climate of the organization, or they may ask a partner or a child to help by speaking up about the emotions of your own family. As you do this, own it and bring others around you in a strengths mindset. Your command will be a tool to make relationships work for you and not against you. So there we have it, a bit about how you can use your command strength to make relationships easier around you, in your family or on your team. If you operate from the command strength, or you know someone who does, I'd love to know how this episode sits with you. You are the one, not me, who is living and breathing this strength. So how does it work well in your relationships? And where do you work to fine-tune it? So head over to Instagram and tag or just direct message me at Isogo Strong with your thoughts on what command looks like in your relationships at work or at home. And that is spelled ISOGO Strong over on Instagram. And if you're still more curious about the impacting relationships around you by fixating on strength instead of on weakness, I'd love to help give you a jump start as your virtual coach. It's super easy to start, and since you listened today, I'd love to get you $5 off the Strength Startup Virtual Coach Kickstarter. So if you go over to isogostrong.com/strengthsstartup, you can check it out. You use the code VirtualCoach5 for $5 off. And I would really be honored to get a chance to get to know you and help walk this strengths journey with you in your relationships. Because you and your strengths, they really have a power to make a ripple effect in your family, on your team, and then, I believe, ultimately across the entire world. You can make relationships easier as you fixate on strengths in your family and on your team. So, dial them in, take ownership for your mindset, and make those relationships easier. Until next time on Isogo TV.